It's a good season for me when it comes to snipers. I know last season I posted a video noting why I have dialed back my sniping recently, and one of those reasons was that sniping has just become a little too boring, too passive for me. I like when sniping in Destiny is aggressive and fast-paced, and I felt like we were getting away from that. But this season, King's Fall is back, and that means that my #1 favorite weapon in Destiny 1 is back on the table. It's the Defiance of Yasmin. And in this gameplay, you're going to be able to see how this sniper rifle is unlike the telescoping mega aim assist lane holders that we've been getting in Destiny, and instead, it brings us full circle to what space magic hyper fantasy sniping can actually be like. If you like 180 quick scopes and close quarters drag scopes and making shotgunners fall mid-sprint just a few feet away, hey, then you're gonna like the snipes in this video. Just note that I'm also leaning very heavily into an amplified build in this gameplay, so a lot of these snipes, the handling on the sniper is just dialed up to 11, and it's as light as a feather in my muscly Titan hands. There's a lot to talk about with this sniper rifle, including base stats, perk combinations, and even comparing the weapon to its Destiny 1 predecessor. So let's dive in, starting with my role here in the video. I've had lots of Yasmin's drops so far, probably close to a dozen between the natural drops and the ones that I have spent spoils on. I'm up to 3 out of 5 red borders for crafting purposes, but I'm also not in a rush to craft because my most recent Yasmin drop was a literal god roll. This one has snapshot and opening shot, accurized rounds or steady rounds based on my preferences, fluted barrel, and a range masterwork. You could spec for anti-flinch. There's not a lot that I would change about this thing. It's very nearly a perfect Yasmin. The base aim assist on this thing is 68, which is tied for the first in its adaptive family with a couple others like the Eye of Soul, which is another popular adaptive kinetic. The base range is 54, stability is 46, and a great base handling speed of 46 as well. It's basically at or near the top of its family in every stat category, which is pretty common for raid drops, but one of the more appealing things about the gun is its combination of those excellent base stats with the 40 zoom value scope. It doesn't telescope quite as far as most adaptives, letting you really lean into aggressive sniping with this thing, and that's what I love about it. Speaking of the scope, this thing is so clean, it's open, it's unobstructive, and it doesn't sit on the top of the weapon model like most scopes do, and you don't have that big scope blocking your view while you're running around. A strength of the gun that Cool Guy noted as well in his review of the Yasmin. The sniper is beautiful, it's clean, and that goes a long way for me personally. When zoomed in, the sight picture is immaculate, although it does darken the screen edges at the edges much more than the Destiny 1 version of the gun did. But that could also be related to the fact that our FOV, our field of view in Destiny 2, is much wider and allows us to take in much more information on screen. Now, as we get into the perks on the weapon, there's something that you need to remember about the gun, and it goes back to weapon reviews from the Valve The Disciple raid. All of these King's Fall weapons can be fully crafted with enhanced perks, which makes them highly desirable. The Yasmin will basically be better than the Eye of Soul, simply because, Eye of Soul can't get certain perk combos like Snapshot, Opening Shot. Those are now in the same column on the gun, and it can't get enhanced version of those perks. The Yasmin can have both enhanced snapshot and enhanced opening shot, or enhanced snap and enhanced moving target at the same time. But beyond that, the Defiance, as well as the other King's Fall weapons, can also drop as harrowed versions of the guns, like in Destiny 1. This basically makes them adept weapons and allows them to take adept mods. So you'll need to weigh your options there and decide which you'd prefer, a harrowed version or a crafted version with enhanced perks. The first column of perks on the Defiance has No Distractions, Osmosis, Shoot to Loot, Lead from Gold, Firefly, just like it did in D1, Ensemble, and Snapshot. The second column has Demolitionist, Moving Target, Slick Draw, which I do not like, by the way, on snipers, Firing Line, Opening Shot, Vorpal, and Focused Fury. There are a lot of great combinations here for both PvE and PvP, but for me, Snapshot Opening Shot or Snapshot Moving Target, those are the best combinations for a predominantly PvP player. You PvE junkies are really going to love Firing Line though, considering the origin trait Runneth Over, lets you overflow your magazine when reloading near a teammate, That makes firing line a great perk in the King's Fall raid specifically, where basically every single damage phase on every boss requires you all to stand side by side and shoot a boss in a crit spot. So already between the base stats, the zoom, the scope, the gun model, the perk pool, the adept, and crafting capabilities, you can see how the Defiance of Yasmin is an S-tier sniper rifle in Destiny 2, and likely will be for a long time. And I'm in love with it. I doubt I will use any other sniper as consistently as I'll be using this one moving forward. But there's one more thing that we need to mention, and that's how this Destiny 2 version of the Defiance stacks up to the Destiny 1 version. In a lot of ways, the D2 version is better if you consider its crafting potential, the perk pool, and more. But I do have to, I have to lament one thing in particular, and that's the fact that this is a different gun altogether. The Defiance of Yasmin in Destiny 1 was not an adaptive frame. It was a different subfamily of sniper rifle entirely. It fired at a faster rate of fire, and it did a little less damage. It sat comfortably between the adaptive snipers like the 1,000-yard stare and the rapid snipers like the Waylorn's March. In fact, we had several more types of snipers in Destiny 1 if you remember. The rate of fire system was a little bit different. You know, we had the Waylorn's March snipers with 40 they did a 40 RPM back then is what they called it. And they had mega aim assists, like 80 aim assist at base on those sniper rifles, but they couldn't double body. They had such low impact. They were like scout rifles. Then we had the Praetus Revenge with a 37 RPM and 16 impact. Then it was the Defiance of Yasmin with 26 RPM and an impact of 24. And then we got up to the Adaptives with 19 RPM and 31 impact. So we don't have that wide spectrum of snipers in D2. We just have, you know, the basic three. We got the 140s, the 90s, and the 72s. Like, we simplified things. So I do have to pour one out for my old friend. You know, she's back, and she's an incredible sniper rifle in Destiny 2. Easily my favorite, but the sniper that she used to be is dead and gone. She was reborn with a lot of things going for her. She's arguably better than she ever was, but she is different. She's not the same. Overall, I'm extremely pleased though with this sniper. Most people don't run snipers in Rumble. They aren't your smartest pick there, but I frankly just don't care. I'm winning 80% of my matches using this build, and I'm not putting it down anytime soon. It's all about fun, and this sniper is so freaking fun to me. I hope that you enjoyed the breakdown today, and especially hope that you enjoyed the gameplay in the background. What do you think about this sniper rifle? Do you have one? Are you hoping to grind one out with your raid team? How's it feeling for you personally? Let me know in the comments section below. And thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hey, would you consider leaving a like on it, as that is the best free way to support content creators here on YouTube Gaming, and consider subscribing for additional Destiny 2 content. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible.